Hello beekeepers, Bee Sauna Part 2. 3rd December, half 9 p.m. We're still at Varroa treatment. Today I'm going to show you a few colonies. They were treated only once after all the brood came out, after bees stopped laying and all colony was completely fed with syrup. Usually we're doing 2 treatments, but those colonies was only 1 treatment done. And I want to show you the difference between amount of mites on those colonies. So first of all, when we raise in winter bees, we're using oxalic acid and glycerin solution for 2 strips, just putting those cardboard strips into that solution, and they suck in all that thing from like oxalic acid and glycerin, and then we hang them in between the frames, usually 5-6 pieces on each colony, and those strips are working around 3-4 weeks. And after we have all the bees raised for the winter, we're feeding completely colonies with the syrup, and then we, after again 21 days after an egg laid, when all brood came out, we using oxalic acid, 3.5% oxalic acid in the water, liter of water, 35 grams of oxalic acid and 200 grams of sugar. And we simply, that's only milk jug. It's all over with the propolis, and there's a little hole, 2 millimeter hole in the lid. We're simply pouring 10 milliliters between the frames. So if you have colony, say 10 frames occupied, so you're using about 100 grams per colony. So by pouring just between the frames, very simple. So those colonies has only 1 treatment done. The other colonies in the other apiary have 2 treatments done, and they still have some mites, because Bee Sauna show you everything. Whatever mites is in it, they will be on the ground. So I won't be wasting your time, show you how we're shaking the bees into the drum and things like that, because you saw that on first video. So we're going to prepare all these, and I'm only going to show you the mites which going to fall down in that Bee Sauna. Now that's that part done. We have bees in the drum now. All finished. We're going to bring them into the sauna. Have to spray them evenly around the drum. Now, so there's nothing on the inspection tray. No mites. I'll probably go down a bit. Yeah, like that. Right, so we'll be waiting for the temperature to rise up to 47. And while we're watching the mites, I had a few questions already came from the beekeepers, so I'm gonna ask a few questions. Now, glycerin, yeah, that's done. So those heat treatments for to kill Varroa mites, I didn't. That's not my own invention. This is widely used all over the Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, Russia, Germany, all over the Europe as far as I know, and the people getting very good results. So I made this device about 3 years ago, and I started to treat bees for Varroa, and I done a lot of different experiments. So first, another question. Do I looking for queen when I'm treating bees? Yeah, that's the most popular question. 2 years ago I done large experiment. Basically what I've done is I before that I was looking for the queen. I was putting the queen into the cage, and then after all the treatments, like return the queen back into the hive with the bees. So it takes a lot of time. And then I started to treat bees with the queen, and I found no damage to the queen at all. Say I lost, maybe in 20 colonies, I lost about 1 or 2 queens. So basically less than 5% the queen can be damaged in the bee sauna. The damage could be if you squash it, or if you just damage it physically. But basically after a bee sauna, queen usually springtime laying very well, perfectly, everything is fine. So there is only if you do physical damage to the queen, if you squash it in the drum or something, then it could be like loss of queen. But other than that, I'm not looking for queen. Now what temperature we have there? 44, 45 almost. Just have the turning system on. It's fairly dark on camera for some reason. Just give us a second. Any better? No. A little bit better. Now I'm saying that the bee sauna killing 100% of mites. Again, I have this thing checked because last year I have 10 colonies treated second time in a week time after the first treatment, and I didn't get a single mite. So I can say Varroa 100% killed by bee sauna. I usually say it's 99.9%, just because physically you cannot get 100% of bees inside the drum. Some of the bees will be crawling, some will be maybe 10-15 bees will be still crawling there somewhere in the hive or flying or something. So it might be 1 single mite or 2 mites in those bees. But if it's went to the drum and went to the bee sauna, end of the story, all mites are dying. Now temperature 46.7, and I have 2.5 minutes now. So the bee sauna is most effective weapon against Varroa, and it's not really Varroa. Yeah, they start falling there. Yeah, crawling, someone crawling there. So the viruses which Varroa sprays is most dangerous for the bees. Varroa sprays over 20 viruses, and viruses is. I'll just turn the system off. Yeah. The viruses are very dangerous for the bees. If you have in each colony amount of Varroa over 3%, it's possibly your Varroa gonna die. Few mites. And just get it to the left, yeah. Maybe lower a bit. Yeah, better focus, yeah. So basically, if you find 3% of Varroa in your colony, that colony won't survive until March. It will die during the winter. So I was treated last year 10 colonies. Single mites didn't fail. I can guarantee 100% Varroa killed by this bee sauna. Now next one here. Yeah. And last couple of nights I have managed to treat most of my colonies here. So we only few nukes there left, about 20 nukes left, and a few colonies here. So we're almost done. That's Varroa, like, yeah, it's falling already. Now we have 47. Just show the temperature gauge. It's 47. I turn the fueling system. So what we have there, it's good fuel. Time. It's another 5 minutes. We have almost 5 minutes. Yeah, there's a lot of them moving there. Jeez, they fall in like apples from the apple tree. Just bring it, maybe bring it down closer. No, that's worse. Yeah, worse. Oh, in here. Better focus. Yeah. A lot of them falling. They sprayed evenly, more or less. Not too bad. Genie. I repeat, that's only one treatment. After all brood came out, was one treatment with oxalic acid. It was good treatment, and I got an average maybe 150 200 mites, and that was it. But the reason I'm showing you this video is there is no such chemicals or acids, whatever you're using, can work 100% on mites. It doesn't matter how many times you're going to treat, and it doesn't matter what you're treating with. Jesus, it's still some mites left, and mites done big damage to your colonies during the winter. And then in springtime, when your colonies start to rise, the mites are going into the forced brood, damaging forced brood, so your colony not rising as supposed to be. Yeah, there's good few on this colony. I'd say it's a couple of hundreds already. We have what we have, about 2 minutes left. So we keep it until they stop falling. It makes no difference in 10 minutes or 12 minutes. I used to treat up to 17-20 minutes, but usually after 12 minutes there is nothing falling. It depends the size of the colony, how quick it hits up. The mites are still alive, crawling, but they only crawling for a couple of minutes and then just dying. Just by the experience, we're going to calculate them anyway, but by the experience I can see there is over 400 mites there now at the moment, and that is almost, let's say, for size of that colony, it's around 3%. This colony, I'd say, if that mite will be left in the hive, the colony will die during the winter. There's no possibility it will survive on that amount of mites. We just give them another minute and I think they stop falling. But even if they not falling, sometimes I was putting the inspection trays under the big colonies which were treated for Varroa, and I got good amount of mites afterwards, dead mites, because the mites are getting stuck between like in the bodies of the bees, and they just falling after, but they're getting over 45 degrees, they're getting unreversible damage, and end of the story. It just falls down afterwards, dead, of course. Now time is up, that's good enough. We pull the tray now. Yeah, just stop the video for a second. We pull the tray, we calculate those mites. Wow. 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 That is a lot. Just calculate maybe in one square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 2, 3, about 44 or 45. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and multiply by 15, say 40 mites roughly, because there's some in here as well. That's the amount of mite we have. So the bee sauna kills the whole thing. Thank you for watching. Visit website irishbee.ie and look YouTube for more video. Good luck.